Welcome back to Open Window Politics. Let's do a Buttigieg versus Vance prediction. We'll get started with the first state, that being Nevada. I'm going to put Nevada into the lean blue margin. I think this will be a pretty easy state for Buttigieg to win, and this is just if the election were to be held today. So that's going to be the call there for the 6 electoral college votes of Nevada, and we'll go in order of electoral college votes. Next up, we will go to the state of Wisconsin. I think that Wisconsin and probably the next one or two states we're going to call would end up being in the lean blue column. Both Buttigieg and Vance hail from the Rust Belt area. Buttigieg, of course, former mayor of South Bend, Indiana, and now lives in Michigan. And then Vance, just the right neighbor to the right in Ohio. He was a former senator from there, popular author, grew up in the area. But that's going to be the call there for Wisconsin. And then we're going to head over to Arizona. I feel less confident in calling this by a lean margin, but I think that Buttigieg would still be able to win it by a tilt margin. He I think, is going to do quite well in this election hypothetical prediction, just because the national environment is really favoring Democrats. We've seen Democrats consistently outperform. We'll have a better idea of which way more states are leaning when it comes to the midterms this November. But for now, it is looking like it will be a good environment for Democrats. I also changed the district there in Maine from lean red to tilt red. And then Texas and Iowa, I put in the lean instead of likely column. I think this is a fairly fair assumption. And then we're going to go to Michigan. This is, if I remember correctly, now Pete Buttigieg's home state, and I think he'd be able to win it. I'm going to put it into the lean blue margin. That gets Pete Buttigieg to 267 to J.D. Vance's 219. Then we're going to do the the district here in the Nebraska area in Omaha. That's going to be one more vote for Pete Buttigieg, 269 to 218. Buttigieg only needs one more vote he needs two more votes to secure the presidency. And we will change the district there in Nebraska. Nebraska is meant to be in the safe red column, but there is one competitive district in the state of Alaska that's just in the urban Omaha area, and that district I think will most likely go blue by a lean margin. This district even went blue in 2024, and that was a really bad election year for Democrats, so I think if it can happen then, it can happen now, or if the election were to be held today. So that's going to be one more vote for Pete Buttigieg. We'll head over to the other half of the Sun Belt. This is where I think Vance is going to get his first state that he's going to win, his first piece of good news, that being the state of North Carolina. This state is becoming increasingly competitive. I hinted at it earlier, but the midterms will give us an idea of which way many of these states are leaning on the statewide level. And North Carolina has a decently competitive Senate race that Democrats at the moment are strongly favored to win, which is interesting, especially since on the presidential level I'd call it for J.D. Vance. I think it would be close. I think that Buttigieg has a real shot at winning it, but for now we'll do tilt red in Vance's column. And then the state that will bring Pete Buttigieg over the edge, no pun intended, is going to be the state of Georgia, which is going to bring Pete Buttigieg to 284 to 235. And then lastly, the state of Pennsylvania. The state is normally going to be the one that determines who's the presidency, ultimately, even if Vance wins it. And I think this state is Vance's best hope of the 3 Rust Belt states. I think Wisconsin and Michigan are most likely going to end up in the Democratic column. I think Vance and I think Pennsylvania will as well, but I think that's probably the state where his best hopes lie. So that's going to end us up with 303 for the Democrat, Pete Buttigieg, to 235 for the Republican J.D. Vance. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks.